Hi everybody, welcome to CNS. We are a private labeling, order fulfillment, and delivery service located here in the heart of the fashion district. What we're going to talk about today is garment labels, okay? There's a lot of questions regarding garment labels and the materials that are used, what is actually provided, and unfortunately there's a lot of companies out there that are doing a lot of false advertisement. So I want to go ahead and clarify a couple of things when it comes to actual garment labels, the types of materials, and the types of process and finishings and instructions that are required when you are private labeling. Okay, so to break it down as far as the garment labels to begin with, well, actually, we've CNS has been in the industry for a little over 15 years here in the fashion district. So that experience, that knowledge is what essentially we are going to go ahead and transmit to you guys right now. So breaking it down as to the garment labels, there's a lot of companies out there that'll say, hey, we offer woven labels. Okay, that term is tossed around out there so many times, and a lot of times it's not what you expect. Okay, and they're offering you bottom, like the cheapest label, and titling it as woven. So you have to make sure that you know that there are differences. Okay, so as an example, this here is an actual woven label. You're able to see, I'm not sure if I'm too close or far enough, you're able to see that you can see the threads there in the back and in the front. So this is actually a woven label with end folds. Okay, end folds are important so that when the sewing process is done, the thread actually locks onto the garment a lot sturdier, and not to mention when you do that, the label is now nice and rigid onto the placed onto the garment. When you have non-end folded, you're gonna have this type of label like this, where it's more just laying flat. The garment label tends to move out a little bit more, and therefore resulting in possibly a crooked, not a straight line. The label might be slightly slanted, and that's because of the sewing process. Okay, so this is a woven label. This here is a printed label. As you can see, you can't really tell that there's any logo in the back. Obviously, because of the lighting, you might see it come through a little bit, but in reality, you do not have the logo coming through the other end. It's essentially, in layman's terms, it is similar to a stamp on fabric. So essentially, that is what a printed label is. The ones that we offer with a third-party vendor, you're gonna have a cotton blend woven label that's done so that it can provide a soft texture, a soft feel to your garments. Now, as far as the printed, you're always gonna have a cotton base fabric, and the logo is gonna be printed on top of that. Okay, so this also, here at CNS, we always provide our labels to be end folded. Again, it helps us as far as the sewing process, as far as the quality, as far as the label actually being attached to the garment. Okay, now this here in the middle, what I have is a satin label. Not sure if with the lighting you're able to see that there's a small shine to it. Now this is a satin label. The fabric in itself, a lot of companies consider it to be a woven fabric, but this is not a woven label. This is a woven label, okay? Because it's thread brought together to create your design. This here is a satin label, okay? Now the material is satin, okay? And on top of that, they print on this satin label. This is actually the most economical types of labels out there, and because of the economical part of it, as you can see in this particular label, it frays out very easily, super easily. It does fray out. Now, a lot of companies out there that like using this because of how cheap it is. But again, here at CNS, we honestly only provide printed on cotton or cotton blend when it comes to actual woven. So don't be surprised if you see a vendor saying we have woven labels, when in reality, woven fabric, satin woven fabric with a print on it. Okay, so this is super cheap. This here will last you probably a good 2 to 3 washes, and then your name is gonna be gone. So if you're trying to push a good brand, especially if your price point for your apparel is higher up, and you apply a woven label, that woven label, at times you could even scratch the label or your brand out. Okay, now imagine when you put it through to a wash, 1 or 2 washes, your label is now going to be a blank satin label. That is why for us, with our vendor, we provide a printed on cotton. Now obviously after time this will fade out, but you're talking about 10 to 15 washes, after it'll start to diminish as far as the quality of the print. A lot different than 1 to 2, or even you could scratch it off on the first one. So you gotta be very careful when you're ordering labels to make sure that you're actually ordering woven. If you're intent on ordering woven labels, if you're intent on purchasing satin labels, then just know it's gonna be nice and shiny, okay? And it's gonna be nice and blank after a couple washes. If you want to do printed, this would be the better option. There is printed on white and printed on this beige color, for example. Very good quality, nice and soft. Now, fourth label that I have here is going to be our care label. I'll go ahead and talk about care labels, which is essentially the washing instructions and how we manage this in a later video.